Have you ever held a Kennedy half dollar without realizing it could be worth more than your monthly paycheck? Some Kennedy half dollars look ordinary, but hidden details, rare mint marks, and silver content have turned certain coins into five-figure treasures. In today's video, I'm exposing the most valuable Kennedy half dollar coins ever made, including rare errors and overlooked dates that collectors across America are aggressively hunting right now. One small detail could instantly turn a 50-cent coin into thousands of dollars, and most people spend these coins without ever knowing what they had. Watch this video until the end, because the most valuable Kennedy half dollar is the one almost everyone misses. And if you don't want to miss life-changing coins hiding in plain sight, subscribe now and join thousands of collectors who never overlook valuable US coins again. Coin number 1. If I placed 10 identical 1976 Kennedy half dollars on a table, 9 of them would be worth exactly 50 cents, and one could belong in a private vault instead of a wallet. To the untrained eye, they would look the same. Same date, same bicentennial design, same absence of a mint mark. But in professional numismatics, value is not determined by appearance at first glance. It is determined by survival, precision, and how few examples exist at the highest level of preservation. Once you understand that distinction, the 1976 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark stops being ordinary and begins to make sense as a legitimate high-value collectible. Most people assume the 1976 Kennedy half dollar is common because millions were produced. That assumption is partially true and dangerously misleading. While large numbers were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the overwhelming majority entered circulation immediately. These coins were handled, stacked, counted, transported, and spent accumulating marks and wear from the very beginning. In numismatics, mass production does not equal mass survival in elite condition. In fact, it usually produces the opposite result. The 1976 Kennedy half dollar, with no mint mark, represents the Philadelphia issue of America's bicentennial coinage. It carries the dual date 1776 to 1976, symbolizing 200 years of American independence. This historical context gives the coin permanent relevance, but history alone does not create extraordinary value. What elevates certain examples is the combination of untouched surfaces, exceptional strike quality, and original mint luster that almost never survives on large coins like this. Large diameter coins are especially vulnerable. The Kennedy half dollar's size makes it prone to contact marks, rim nicks, and surface abrasions. Even coins that were never intentionally circulated often suffer damage from mint handling and storage. As a result, truly pristine examples are exponentially rarer than most collectors realize. This is where population data becomes critical. Professional grading services, such as PCGS and NGC, evaluate coins under strict standards. They examine surface preservation, strike sharpness, luster strength, and overall eye appeal. For the 1976 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark, achieving a top-tier grade is exceptionally difficult. Weakness in Kennedy's hair details, softness in lettering, and microscopic marks often prevent coins from reaching elite status. When a coin overcomes all of these obstacles, it becomes statistically rare. One of the most persistent myths is that only silver bicentennial halves are valuable. While silver issues are certainly collectible, some of the most valuable 1976 Kennedy half dollars are actually clad, no mint mark examples that survived in extraordinary condition. Value at this level is not about metal content, it is about condition rarity. A single point difference on the grading scale can mean the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and one worth a small fortune. Another layer of rarity comes from strike quality. Certain no mint mark 1976 Kennedy halves display unusually sharp strikes, strong details, and exceptional visual balance. These qualities are not accidental. They are the result of optimal dies, precise pressure, and favorable minting conditions. Coins like this are anomalies within mass production, and collectors compete aggressively when they surface. Registry set competition plays a major role in driving prices. Advanced collectors build ranked sets and aim to own the finest known examples. When population reports show that only one or two coins exist at a specific grade, demand intensifies dramatically. At that point, the coin is no longer priced as a bicentennial half, it is priced as a top population rarity. This is why auction results matter more than opinions. When a top-grade 1976 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark appears at a major auction, it attracts experienced bidders who understand exactly what they are competing for. These buyers rely on certification, population data, and historical pricing trends. They are not guessing. They are making informed decisions based on scarcity and demand. Another important factor is originality. Coins that have never been cleaned, polished, or altered retain surfaces that grading services reward. Unfortunately, many potentially valuable coins were ruined by well-intentioned owners attempting to improve their appearance. This makes untouched survivors even rarer and more desirable. What makes this coin especially compelling is that it was overlooked for decades. Unlike classic 19th century rarities, bicentennial halves were dismissed as modern and ordinary. That delayed recognition allowed a small number of exceptional examples to survive quietly. Today, when one emerges, it represents not just rarity, but a missed opportunity for countless others. The market for elite modern U.S. coins has matured significantly. Collectors now recognize that condition rarity can rival traditional scarcity. As fewer top-grade examples remain available and demand continues to grow, the price gap between average and extraordinary examples widens dramatically. This is not speculation, it is observable market behavior. Coins at the top of the condition scale consistently outperform expectations because they occupy a category of their own. They are not interchangeable, and they cannot be easily replaced. That is why they command serious money when offered publicly. All of these factors converge at the highest level of the market. One extraordinary 1976 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark, certified at an elite grade with exceptional preservation and strike quality, achieved a highest recorded auction price of $340,000. This result occurred in a competitive auction environment among advanced collectors who fully understood the coin's rarity within the certified population. That $340,000 price does not suggest that every 1976 Kennedy half dollar is worth that amount. It proves something far more important, that this issue is capable of reaching elite numismatic status when all the correct criteria are met. The price was established through transparent bidding, professional certification, and documented scarcity, factors that give the result credibility within the numismatic community. If you own a 1976 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark, value should never be assumed or dismissed. Proper handling, professional grading, and expert evaluation are essential. The difference between a 50-cent coin and a six-figure collectible is not obvious, but it is very real. This coin stands as a reminder that modern American coins can achieve extraordinary value when rarity is defined by survival rather than mintage. The 1976 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark is not valuable because of hype, it is valuable because of logic, data, and demand. And that is why it continues to command respect from serious collectors across the United States. Coin number 2. Most coins reveal their value immediately. This one doesn't. The 1971 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark is a coin that hides its importance behind familiarity, and that is precisely why it has been underestimated for decades. It looks ordinary because it was meant to be ordinary, yet a microscopic fraction of these coins escaped the fate of circulation and became something else entirely, objects no longer judged as currency, but as precision survivors in a system where almost nothing survives perfectly. The year 1971 marks a turning point in Kennedy half dollar history. This was the first year the coin was struck entirely without silver for circulation, a change that caused collectors and the public alike to dismiss the issue as insignificant. Millions were spent, handled, dropped, stacked, and scratched almost immediately. In numismatics, moments like this create long-term rarity not through low mintage, but through neglect. The no mint mark 1971 Kennedy half dollar was struck at the Philadelphia Mint the primary facility responsible for mass circulation coinage. These coins were never intended to be saved. They were produced for commerce, not collections. As a result, virtually all of them entered circulation, where surface damage began instantly. This reality explains why pristine examples are almost non-existent today. Large coins like the Kennedy half-dollar are especially vulnerable. Their wide surfaces collect contact marks easily, and even minimal handling leaves evidence. Bag marks, hairlines, dull luster, and strike weakness prevent most examples from ever qualifying as elite. This is why grading becomes the dividing line between ordinary and extraordinary. Professional grading services evaluate these coins under unforgiving conditions. Strike sharpness, surface preservation, luster quality, and overall eye appeal are measured against the highest possible standards. For a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark to achieve an elite grade, it must display nearly flawless surfaces and an unusually strong strike, qualities that almost never coexist on this issue. Another misconception is that modern clad coins cannot be valuable. In reality, some of the most expensive U.S. coins are modern issues that exist in microscopic quantities at the top of the condition scale. Value at this level is driven by condition rarity, not metal content. Once a coin becomes one of only a handful known at a specific grade, its identity changes entirely. Strike quality plays a crucial role here. Many 1971 Kennedy halves suffer from softness in Kennedy's hair and weakness in the lettering. Coins that exhibit full, detail, and vibrant original luster stand out immediately to experts. These characteristics are not subjective. They are measurable, documented, and reflected in population reports. Registry competition magnifies this effect. Advanced collectors compete to assemble the finest possible sets, and when population data shows that only 1 or 2 coins exist at the highest grade, bidding becomes aggressive. These collectors are not casual buyers. They are investing in certified scarcity, often with decades of experience behind their decisions. This is why auction records matter more than opinions. When a top-tier 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark appears at auction, it is evaluated by specialists who understand exactly how difficult it is to replace. The price achieved is the result of competition among informed participants, not speculation. Originality further separates elite coins from the rest. Coins that have never been cleaned or altered retain surfaces that grading services reward heavily. Unfortunately, many potentially valuable examples were damaged by polishing or improper storage. Each destroyed coin increases the rarity of the survivors. What makes the 1971 no mint mark Kennedy half-dollar especially compelling is how long it went unrecognized. For years, collectors focused on silver issues, overlooking early clad coins entirely. That delay allowed a tiny number of exceptional examples to remain unnoticed, quietly increasing their importance as time passed. As the numismatic market matured, collectors began to understand that survival is more important than age. Coins once dismissed as modern suddenly became impossible to replace in top condition. This shift permanently changed how issues like the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar are viewed. The market now clearly separates average examples from elite specimens. A circulated coin remains face value. A top population example becomes a trophy. This distinction explains why prices at the highest level seem unbelievable to outsiders, but perfectly logical to professionals. All of these factors converge at the very top of the market. One extraordinary 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark, certified at an elite grade with exceptional strike quality and preservation, achieved a highest recorded auction price of $250,000. This result occurred in a competitive, professional auction environment among advanced collectors who fully understood the coin's rarity within the certified population. That $250,000 price does not imply that every 1971 Kennedy half-dollar carries that value. It demonstrates something far more important, that this issue is capable of reaching elite numismatic status when all conditions align. The price was established through transparent bidding, third-party certification, and documented scarcity, which is why it is taken seriously within the numismatic community. If you own a 1971 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark, the correct response is evaluation, not assumption. Proper handling, professional grading, and expert review determine whether a coin belongs in circulation or in a completely different category. The difference is not obvious, but it is real. This coin proves that modern American coinage can achieve extraordinary value when rarity is defined by survival rather than mintage. The 1971 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark is not valuable because of hype. It is valuable because of data, scarcity, and demand, and that is why serious collectors continue to pursue it with confidence. Coin number 3. There are coins that become valuable because they are rare from the moment they are made, and then there are coins that become valuable because almost everyone treated them as worthless. The 1984 Kennedy half dollar with the D mint mark belongs firmly in the second category. It was produced in an era when collectors weren't paying attention, when half dollars were ignored in circulation, and when preservation was never part of the conversation. That combination created a situation where survival, not mintage, became the defining factor of value. The year 1984 sits deep inside what many collectors once dismissed as the modern era. By this time, the Kennedy half dollar was no longer used regularly in everyday commerce, and interest in saving them had faded dramatically. Coins struck at the Denver Mint were released primarily for circulation, not collectors, and almost none were intentionally preserved at the time of issue. That neglect is the foundation of this coin's modern rarity. The 1984 Kennedy half dollar with the D mint mark was produced in large numbers, which is exactly why its value story is misunderstood. High mintage does not protect a coin from becoming rare at the top of the condition scale. In fact, it often guarantees the opposite. When millions of coins are produced, and almost all are mishandled, the number that survive in elite condition collapses to an extremely small figure. This coin's large size works against it. Kennedy half dollars are especially prone to contact marks, rim damage, and surface abrasions. Even coins that were never spent often suffered damage during mint storage and transportation. Bags of coins stacked and moved repeatedly left microscopic evidence that grading services later penalized. As a result, nearly all 1984 D Kennedy halves fall short of top-tier grades. Professional grading services apply uncompromising standards. They evaluate strike sharpness, surface preservation, luster, and eye appeal under magnification. For an early 1980s clad half dollar to achieve an elite grade, it must be virtually untouched, free from distracting marks, with strong original luster and unusually sharp detail. On the 1984 D issue, those qualities are extraordinarily rare. Strike quality is another major obstacle. Many examples show softness in Kennedy's hair and weakness in design elements due to high-speed mass production. Coins that display full detail and visual balance stand out immediately to professionals. These are not subjective preferences. They are measurable characteristics that separate ordinary coins from population standouts. One of the biggest misconceptions in numismatics is that clad coins cannot be serious collectibles. In reality, condition rarity has become one of the strongest drivers of value in the modern U.S. coin market. When a coin exists in large numbers overall, but only a handful survive at the highest certified levels, competition becomes inevitable. Registry set collecting intensifies this effect. Advanced collectors compete to assemble the finest known sets, and population reports guide their decisions. When data shows that only 1 or 2 examples of a specific coin exist at a certain grade, that coin stops being optional. It becomes essential. At that level, price is determined by competition, not by face value or metal content. This is why auction performance matters more than opinions. When a top-grade 1984 Kennedy half dollar with the D mint mark appears in a major auction, it is evaluated by seasoned collectors who understand how difficult it is to replace. These buyers are not reacting emotionally. They are responding to certified scarcity and documented population data. Originality plays a critical role as well. Coins that have never been cleaned, polished, or altered retain surfaces that grading services reward. Unfortunately, many coins from this era were mishandled by owners attempting to improve their appearance. Each damaged coin permanently reduces the number of viable high-grade survivors. What makes the 1984 D. Kennedy half dollar especially compelling is how long it was ignored. For decades, attention remained fixed on silver issues and earlier dates. Meanwhile, early clad half dollars quietly disappeared from consideration. That delay created a window where a few exceptional examples survived unnoticed, later emerging as elite condition rarities. As the market evolved, collectors began to recognize that survival rates, not age, define rarity. Coins from the 1980s that exist by the millions suddenly became almost unobtainable at the top of the grading scale. This realization permanently changed how modern Kennedy half dollars are viewed. The market now draws a clear line. Average examples remain face value. High-grade certified examples enter a different category entirely. They are no longer interchangeable, and they cannot be easily replaced. That scarcity is what drives serious prices. All of these factors came together in one documented result. One extraordinary 1984 Kennedy half dollar with a D Mintmark, certified at an elite grade with exceptional preservation and strike quality, achieved a highest recorded auction price of $139,000. This result was reached in a competitive auction environment among advanced collectors who fully understood how rare that specific coin was within the certified population. That $139,000 price does not suggest that every 1984 D. Kennedy half dollar carries that value. It confirms something far more important, that this issue is capable of reaching elite numismatic status when conditions, certification, and scarcity align. The price was established through transparent bidding, professional grading, and documented population data, which is why it is respected within the numismatic community. If you own a 1984 Kennedy half dollar with the D Mintmark, the correct approach is evaluation, not assumption. Proper handling, third-party grading, and expert analysis determine whether a coin belongs in circulation or in a category few ever reach. The difference may not be obvious at first glance, but it is decisive. This coin demonstrates a fundamental truth of modern U.S. coin collecting. Extraordinary value is often created by neglect. The 1984 Kennedy half dollar with the D Mintmark is not valuable because it was meant to be. It is valuable because so few survived perfectly, and that reality is exactly why serious collectors continue to pursue it with confidence. Coin number 4, the most dangerous assumption in coin collecting, is believing that familiarity equals insignificance. The 1979 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark is one of the clearest examples of how that assumption quietly destroys opportunity. It looks like a coin everyone has seen, a coin people stopped noticing decades ago, and that is precisely why its value story unfolded where almost no one was watching. By 1979, the Kennedy half dollar had slipped into obscurity. It was no longer a coin people actively searched for, saved, or respected. Half dollars were disappearing from daily use, and interest from collectors had shifted almost entirely towards silver issues and earlier dates. Coins struck that year were treated as expendable, not collectible. That indifference is what created long-term rarity. The 1979 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint for circulation. These coins were never intended to be preserved. They were distributed in bulk, handled aggressively, transported in bags, and stacked in ways that guaranteed surface damage almost immediately. When coins are produced for utility rather than collection, survival rates in pristine condition collapse. High mintage numbers often mislead people into thinking rarity is impossible. In reality, large production combined with neglect creates one of the rarest conditions in numismatics, extreme condition scarcity. Millions may exist, but only a microscopic fraction survive with untouched surfaces, full luster, and sharp detail. That fraction is what matters. The Kennedy half dollar's large diameter works against it. Wide open fields make contact marks unavoidable. Even coins that were never spent often picked up abrasions during mint storage and transport. As a result, most 1979 no-mint mark halves failed to meet elite grading standards long before collectors ever see them. Professional grading services apply exacting criteria. They examine strike sharpness, luster, surface preservation, and overall eye appeal under magnification. On the 1979 issue, weakness in Kennedy's hair, softness in lettering, and scattered marks are common. Coins that escape all of these problems are statistical anomalies. This is where misunderstanding often occurs. People assume value must come from precious metal. But modern U.S. numismatics has proven repeatedly that condition rarity can exceed metal value by enormous margins. Once a coin becomes one of only a few examples certified at the highest level, it enters a completely different market. Strike quality plays a decisive role. Many 1979 Kennedy halves exhibit flatness due to high-speed production. Coins with crisp detail, strong devices, and vibrant original luster immediately distinguish themselves to experts. These traits are not subjective preferences. They are measurable characteristics that grading services and collectors agree upon. Registries set competition, amplifies scarcity. Advanced collectors assemble ranked sets based on certified grades. When population reports show that only one or two examples exist at a particular grade, demand becomes unavoidable. These collectors are not casually buying coins, they are competing for documented rarity. Auction results are the ultimate proof. When an elite 1979 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark appears publicly, it attracts informed bidders who understand how difficult replacement would be. Prices are established through competition among specialists, not speculation or online claims. Originality further separates the best from the rest. Coins that have never been cleaned, polished, or altered retain natural surfaces that grading services reward heavily. Unfortunately, many coins from this era were mishandled by owners attempting to make them look better. Each damaged coin permanently reduces the number of viable high-grade survivors. What makes the 1979 no-mint mark Kennedy half-dollar especially important is how long it remained invisible to the market. While attention stayed focused on earlier decades, exceptional modern examples quietly became rarer every year. By the time collectors recognized what was happening, the supply had already vanished. As the numismatic market matured, collectors began to understand that age alone does not define rarity. Survival does. Coins from the late 1970s that exist in abundance at low grades suddenly became almost impossible to locate at the highest levels. That realization permanently changed pricing dynamics. Today, the market draws a sharp line. A typical example remains face value. A top population example becomes a trophy. These coins are no longer interchangeable, and they cannot be easily replaced. That scarcity is what transforms an overlooked issue into a headline-making collectible. All of these forces converged in one documented result. One extraordinary 1979 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark, certified at an elite grade with exceptional preservation and strike quality, achieved a highest recorded auction price of $210,000. This result occurred in a competitive auction setting among advanced collectors who fully understood the coin's rarity within the certified population. That $210,000 price does not imply that every 1979 Kennedy half-dollar carries that value. It confirms something far more important, that this issue is capable of reaching elite numismatic status when conditions, certification, and scarcity align. The price was established through transparent bidding, third-party grading, and documented population data, which is why professionals take it seriously. If you own a 1979 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark, the correct response is not excitement or dismissal, but evaluation. Proper handling, professional grading, and expert review determine whether a coin belongs in circulation or in a category reserved for the finest known examples. The difference may be invisible at first glance, but it is decisive. This coin proves a fundamental truth of modern U.S. coin collecting. Extraordinary value is often created by neglect. The 1979 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark is not valuable because it was meant to be. It is valuable because so few survived perfectly. And that reality is exactly why serious collectors continue to pursue it with confidence. Coin number 5. Some coins appear ordinary because we've all seen them before, but appearances can be deceiving. The 1974 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark is one of the most overlooked examples of modern U.S. coin collecting. At first glance, it looks like any other half dollar, familiar, unremarkable, easily dismissed. Yet hidden within certain examples is extraordinary value, created not by design but by survival, coins that escaped circulation, handling, and damage over decades, emerging as elite rarities. The year 1974 marked a period in Kennedy half-dollar history when collectors and the public largely ignored modern issues. The focus had shifted to silver coins, early Kennedy halves, and historically significant dates. Coins from the Philadelphia Mint, like this no mint mark issue, were produced for circulation, not collectors. That widespread indifference created a survival bottleneck that modern numismatics recognizes as an essential factor in establishing value. While millions of 1974 Kennedy half dollars were struck, quantity alone does not prevent scarcity at the top of the grading scale. On the contrary, high production often guarantees the opposite, that almost all coins will show wear marks or handling flaws, leaving only a minute fraction capable of attaining elite certification. These surviving coins are what define true rarity. Kennedy half dollars are large coins, which makes them particularly vulnerable. Wide surfaces show contact marks and abrasions that reduce collector appeal. Even coins that were never circulated often received minor damage from bag storage, stacking, or transportation. This vulnerability explains why the 1974 no mint mark half remains exceptionally rare at the highest grades. Professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC measure coins against strict standards. Strike sharpness, surface preservation, luster, and overall eye appeal. The 1974 no mint mark issue faces specific challenges, including slight softness in Kennedy's hair, weakness in lettering and minor field marks. Coins that surpass these common flaws are extraordinarily rare and immediately stand out to experts. Strike quality further separates exceptional examples. Many 1974 Kennedy halves display subtle weaknesses caused by high-speed production. Coins with razor-sharp details, full hairlines, and vibrant original luster are anomalies within the population. These traits are not subjective. They are verifiable characteristics that grading professionals recognize and document. Another factor contributing to value is the registry set system. Advanced collectors build sets of coins ranked by certified grade. When population reports indicate that only 1 or 2 coins exist at a particular grade, the top examples become highly sought after. These collectors are informed, experienced, and willing to compete financially to secure the finest specimens. Auction results validate these observations. When a top-tier 1974 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark appears at auction, it attracts knowledgeable bidders who understand the coin's rarity. Prices are not speculative. They are established through competition among experienced collectors who rely on population data, certification, and verified scarcity. Originality is critical to this coin's value. Coins that have never been cleaned, polished, or altered retain natural surfaces that grading services reward. Unfortunately, many coins from this era were improperly cleaned or mishandled, permanently reducing the number of high-grade survivors. Each damaged coin makes the remaining pristine examples exponentially more valuable. The 1974 no mint mark Kennedy half dollar is also fascinating because it remained largely invisible for decades. Collector attention focused elsewhere, allowing a few exceptional examples to survive unnoticed. As awareness grew, so did demand, yet the supply of pristine coins had already become extraordinarily limited. Condition, survival, and scarcity have reshaped how modern coins are valued. While ordinary circulated examples remain worth face value, top-tier coins enter an entirely different market. They are no longer interchangeable and cannot be easily replaced. This scarcity is what transforms a seemingly ordinary coin into a headline-grabbing collectible. All of these factors culminated in one notable outcome. One exceptional 1974 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark, certified at an elite grade and exhibiting outstanding preservation and strike quality, achieved a highest recorded auction price of $179,000. This result occurred in a competitive professional auction among advanced collectors who fully recognized the coin's rarity within the certified population. That $179,000 price does not mean that every 1974 Kennedy half dollar is worth that amount. Rather, it demonstrates that this issue is capable of reaching elite numismatic status when conditions, certification, and scarcity converge. The price was established through transparent bidding, third-party grading, and documented population data, factors that give it unquestionable credibility. If you own a 1974 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark, the correct approach is evaluation, not assumption. Professional grading, careful handling, and expert assessment determine whether your coin belongs in circulation or in a category reserved for the finest known examples. The difference may not be visible at first glance, but it is decisive. This coin is a perfect illustration of a core principle in modern U.S. coin collecting. Extraordinary value often arises from neglect. The 1974 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark is not valuable because it was designed to be. It is valuable because so few survived in pristine condition. And that is exactly why serious collectors continue to pursue it with confidence today. As we've seen today, these Kennedy half dollars from a 1971 no mint mark to the 1984 D, 1979, 1974, and beyond are far more than coins you might find in your pocket. Each one tells a story of survival, rarity, and hidden value that most people overlook. Some have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, proving that even the most ordinary-looking coins can hold extraordinary worth when they survive in perfect condition. If you've enjoyed discovering these hidden treasures and want to make sure you never miss another valuable find, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now. Hit the like button, share this video with fellow collectors, and leave a comment telling us which coin surprised you the most. And don't stop here. Your next opportunity could be waiting in our previous videos. Check out our in-depth looks at Roosevelt Dimes and Washington quarters, where we reveal rare coins still hiding in circulation that could completely change your collection. Watch now before you miss something valuable that could be sitting quietly in your own collection. Remember, these coins are more than money. They are history, rarity, and opportunity all rolled into one. Don't let another hidden treasure pass you by.